Hey guys, Wednesday. So it's comic book time again. Got a nice batch of comics to review this week, and then afterwards I want to say some stuff. But first, let's just get on to the comics. Starting with Adventure Time, issue 19. I like the cover. I like Marceline a lot. Has nothing to do with this issue at all. She's not in it. Um, really don't know why she's on the cover. It's a good cover, just kind of confusing. It's neither of these characters or the dog is in it at all. But this is the conclusion to the dungeon arc. Last issue we had Finn and Jake go into the liches or licks or whatever Lich is part of the dungeon. And we saw that Finn came out in his in the alternate universe established in the show that the Lich was trying to create. So Finn with the nose over here. And so this issue is him trying to get back. And he does, and then he has to rescue Jake from his alternate universe, and then the Ice King from his alternate universe, and then get back to complete the dungeon. So it's the final issue of the arc, and with this whole alternate world sort of thing, it's interesting, and it's kind of emotional. Most of this issue takes place in the Ice King's alternate world, whereas you can see he's back with Betty, and this is kind of Adventure Times for the man who has everything. For the man who has everything, of course, the famous Justice League issue turned into an episode of the cartoon written by Alan Moore about Mongol comes, plants a trap on Superman that makes him envision the perfect life, and so most of that issue you have kind of Superman's hallucinating that he's back on Krypton, that he has a family there, and that everything's perfect. Meanwhile, I think it's Batman, Robin, and Wonder Woman have to rescue him from the dream. And so this is kind of Ice King's version of that. Like I said, we spend most of the time in Ice King's alternate universe, where he's with Betty and he's happy, and you have Finn and Jake trying to pull him out, and he really doesn't want to leave because he can finally remember everything, and he's finally with Betty, and he's finally happy. And yeah, it's just like if you're following the TV show, if you like know the Ice King and his history, he's a really sympathetic character to the point where he's not even a villain anymore because he was barely villain at all because he was always so very affable and amicable. I hope I'm using those words right. And here we see him get something he wants. He doesn't want to be evil. He's helping out. He remembers his past and everything. And Finn and Jake have to pull him out because it's not real. And yeah, so it's very for the man who has everything. And yeah, just kind of tugs at the heartstrings. At the same time, comic still retains its humor. You still have the little quotes on the bottom every now and again. You got Makeout Theater, which is just King and Betty kissing. And yeah, it's this nice kind of ambivalence between really happy comedy, as the Adventure Time comic usually does, and then kind of sad, depressing for the king who has everything. And then at the end we have a little mini comic, Finn and Jake, and it's parts of it upside down, and you can flip it over, and then it's Jake's point of view. Just kind of filling out the last couple pages. But yeah, it's a good conclusion of the arc. It's for the man who has everything. So if you're into that, if you're into Adventure Time, pick it up. Next up, we have Superior Spider-Man, what number is this? 16. Number 16. The conclusion to the Goblin Hunting arc. Basically, last issue, Spider-Man revealed that, not Lars Ulrich. Fuck, what's his name? Phil Ulrich. Who's Lars Ulrich? He was like a musician or something. I think he was like a Napster or something to do with Napster. Anyway, last issue, Superior Spider-Man revealed, ousted even, Phil Ulrich as the new Hobgoblin. And so now we see, this is kind of the aftermath of that. You have everyone in the Bugle saying, like, "Oh my God, this guy's the Hobgoblin. What do we do?" We have him trying to deny it. We have Spider-Man trying to pinpoint his location exactly. And then we have what's her name? You have Carly Cooper and the other cop who suspects that Spider-Man isn't Peter Parker anymore, trying to figure out what's gone wrong with Spidey, and they're following the money for, like, where's Spidey getting all these tanks and whatever. So they're following that, and then we have kind of the whole ramifications of Superior Spider-Man's new methods. So using this hacking of everything and broadcasting the message and ousting this guy, we have Peter Parker, well, not Peter, we have Otto Octavius successfully arrest this Hobgoblin, and through this he's talking, he's like, he's saying over all the televisions, whatever, that Peter Parker's origin, that when he was younger he had the chance to stop a thief and a criminal, and he didn't, and then that criminal killed someone, and he's never forgiven himself for that. So this is New York's chance to stop the criminal, and blah 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 blah. And that's played up, kind of the dark reverse of that is, does being a hero, not stopping a villain lets a villain continue, it doesn't make you a hero, but does being a hero create your own villains? And so here we kind of both stories. We have the inaction causing harm, and then the action inspiring others to harm. So at the end of this, we have Green Goblin. I think he's going by Goblin King now, according to the comics. Goblin King breaking out Ulrich and fitting him up as a Goblin Knight. Sorry for the light. The Goblin Knight. Sorry about that. That's Facebook. So, yeah. I guess Superior is always, in its run, it's kind of been this whole deconstructing comic. It's been, I wouldn't want to say like a thinking man's comic, but it's the sort of thing where there's, if you dig deeper, there's definitely more thematic things that the comic gives you to think about superheroes rather than just what appears on the surface. And it could just be me reading into it because, like, I'm a media analysis major. That's kind of what I do. But I'm enjoying it. It's hard for me not to recommend it, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of it is intentional because Dan Slott seems like a pretty smart guy. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Moving on to DC, we have Supergirl. Wonder Woman, what was I going to say? Wonder Woman, number 23, conclusion to the First Son arc. And, yeah, a lot happens. I mean, it's, we start off where we ended off last time with Wonder Woman and the whole gang taking the fight to the Firstborn, who has an army of animal people, basically, waiting for them. They start a big fight. War comes, and I love this bit. He's Firstborn's like, what's better is when you have a family fighting for you instead of you fighting for your family. And then War is like, blah blah blah. That's a good point. And then I just love this bit. He's going. Come on. Basically, War goes off. Firstborn's like, who's gonna fight for you, old man? And then War, being the god of war, is like, no, it's like, what army do you have under your command? And then War, because he's the god of war, has all of the armies at his command, and he just pulls out this massive undead army, which is brilliant because he's the god of war. So, like, why would you, like starting a war with the god of war? Kind of a dumb idea. I just think that's really cool. So a lot of this big fight scene, Just kind of First Son. Well, it starts with Orion beating on First Son, then First Son beats back Orion. He goes after Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman hulks out because Firstborn's a huge fucking threat, and that's still not enough. And then we have Ares go after him himself. So we have the God of War versus the Firstborn. Doesn't end too well. Ares dies, but then again, so does the Firstborn, or whatever. And then, so after this huge fight scene, we got a kind of a somber ending, with God of War being dead, Diana taking his position pretty much by default, and then we have Hades come to pick up the corpse, and Wonder Woman doesn't kill the Firstborn because there's been enough killing. She doesn't want to do that, apparently. Okay. I mean, I like when heroes don't kill, so I'm not going to complain. But, yeah. Then we have, I think it's Apollo picking up the body, apparently. That's what it looks like. So basically a nice, kind of tidy ending for the arc. And a lot happened. This is a really long arc, with the Firstborn and all that. So, and it's kind of a sad way. We have a character death, but this is it's an effective death. I mean, he was someone who wasn't like necessary to the story. You know, he's not like a huge. It's not like killing off Jamilson, but at the same time, he's a character that we've known from the comics beginning since the reboot, and we've really gotten to trust him a lot, like Diana. And then he's taken away, but he's doing, he's the God of War. He's taken away in a fight. So, it's like he was set up to die almost, but it doesn't feel cheap at all. And then we have just a nice ending of Diana escorting him to Hades. And I think I say this every month, that Wonder Woman is one of the better comics coming out of the New 52. Still is, and this is a great ending to a great arc, so pick it up. Continuing with Superman Unchained, number 3. I don't know if this is a variant cover or not. It's the same price, it's just the cover I got for this. I like it, but there was another one, I think, that has, I guess that looks a lot more like, I'm just going to spoil the final page here, or not the final page. But, like, I'm guessing the original cover looks more like this, but, I like this cover. I like little Clark running through the field. So, in this issue, last issue, we left off with Superman, with the mystery creature, powerful big guy thing, finally making his grand appearance, and kind of knocking Superman down, as did the military with their super weaponry. But in this issue, we get the proper introductions between Superman and this guy, who we later find out is named Wraith and is completely sentient and intelligent and all that. And we also get a little of Wraith's history. And they do a great thing here because of what they do with Wraith. Of course, it says right on the cover here, this is the Superman 75th year anniversary. So, of course, where is it? So, of course, Wraith appeared 75 years ago in November of 1938. Not Superman's anniversary exactly, but, I mean, there you go. So, bringing some, messing with the meta-narrative a little bit. 75 years ago, it wasn't Superman who landed on Earth, it was this guy. And we find out his history, that he's been a secret weapon of humanity in those 75 years. Of course, in the first issue, we found out that he was one of the bombs dropped on Japan. Turns out he was the second one because America only had one nuke at that time. But he had him believing that America had plenty of nukes because he's a living weapon, basically. And then we get this great kind of just exchange between Superman and General Lane, where Lane brings Superman to the secret base of operations where they've been keeping Wraith all these years when he's not, out in the field doing things, and like he shows Superman this map of world threats, and not just threats to America. He explains what threats to the whole world, and how even before Superman came, the Machine, which is what the secret project is called in Wraith, has gotten world threats down to really low levels. And then he has this exchange with Superman. It's brilliant. It's this, it's the sort of thing. It's the sort of thing like you'd expect Lex to say to Superman, like one of those, really take him down a notch sort of things. Where he calls Superman out on being a coward because he fights. General Lane is saying Superman fights for the applause. That what does it do? Deep down, you want to do it, don't you? And he's talking about saving the world. Take down that dictator in Sudan or that warlord in Makran. You want to make the world better. Well, we, referring to the American military, to Wraith, actually do. Every minute you're not doing it, he's talking to Superman again. I'm just going to show you the panel, because it's a great exchange. It's a little hard. It's a little, like, I might have to read it once or twice. So, which is why I tried reading out loud and giving it the proper, I think the proper, what's the word? Emphasis on the words. But you want to make the world a better place. Well, we do. It's like, and he's talking about the military efforts, and he's saying how every time Superman doesn't stop something from happening, he's letting people die because he does have this great power and he's choosing not to use it. And it's the sort of quandary that does come up with Superman a lot. That he has the power to basically eliminate all threats from the world, but he doesn't. It's like, well, why doesn't he? And then that brings in the whole Red Sun. Well, wouldn't he just become a dictator? And so it's that sort of thing. And then, of course, we end with a big fight where we see Superman and Wraith teaming up, and that's where we get the pretty much the last page of the comic. And Wraith says, "It's a shame. I've always wanted to work with the Superman, but I'm going to have to kill you." So that's where this comic is going. Leading up to a big Superman versus Wraith fight. Wraith, of course, being tons more powerful than Superman, and we get a good example of that in the comic itself, where he just punched Superman across the map, which is pretty great. But yeah, I'm liking where this is going. It's we also have Lex Luthor escape, but that's barely mentioned at all. Of course, he's gonna come back because he's Lex Luthor, and that's what he does. He kidnaps Jimmy Olsen. But yeah, I really am liking where this is going. I like the whole Superman versus the military efforts thing. I like the questioning Superman. Like, why does he do it for the credibility? Like, obviously, he has good intentions, but like, could they be better? Is he not doing everything he can? And yeah, pick it up is all I can really say. It's really good. Moving on to Batman and Nightwing, which I'm pretty sure is the final issue of Batman and Robin to do this whole Batman and not Robin sort of thing. And here we go back to another emotional comic more than anything else. We find out that Bruce has been replaying the night of Damian's death and that incident over and over again through virtual reality. And so Alfred brings Dick in order to try and snap Bruce out of it. And Bruce is basically doing this whole thing like, I could have saved him. And he's going through this night over and over and over again, basically trying to prove that he could have saved Damian. And then Dick, knowing that he can't talk Bruce off this ledge, decides to join in. So then we have basically Bruce and Dick doing the simulation together, redoing that night until eventually they do end up saving Damian. And then simulation's complete. Bruce gets out of it. And Dick is like, you know, we could have saved him, but Damian knew he was a soldier. He knew that risk was always happening, blah, blah, blah. And then Dick finally talks Bruce out of it. And then we have the real part that tugs to your heartstrings. And I don't really want to spoil it. I just want to show you that that Alfred goes through the virtual reality. And anyone who knows, who kept up with Batman, Batman Incorporated, knows what knows Alfred's role that night, and that really tugs at the old heartstrings. So yeah, I mean this was definitely a good comic. I mean, Batman and Robin it's been a bit uneven since the relaunch, but this is and it's been strong recently. This one is a very, very strong comic. You know, it deals with grief. It deals with, you know, could I have done this? What could I have done differently? And that's like an innate urge I think everyone has when something goes wrong. It's like, what could I have done? You know, the shoulda, woulda, coulda. But it's like, you know, that doesn't help. You know, like you have a grieving period, of course, but it doesn't help anyone to stay in that and to just kind of, you know, drown yourself in the sorrow and what you could have done. That you have to move on. That, you know, there's no changing what happened, and you're only hurting yourself by lingering in that. And also that it's what really gets at is that it's selfish to do that. And yeah, it's just a really good comic. I think a really good way to kind of end this thing of Bruce grieving over Damian. And yeah, it's just a good way to do it. It's a good way of Bruce coming to terms, I think. And it's really fitting that it's Alfred and Dick Grayson, the two guys that Bruce really let into his life the most, that can finally talk him down. And now the final comic this week is Justice League Dark number 23, Trinity War, part 5 of 6, the penultimate issue of Trinity War. And we finally have the many, many story arcs coming together, and I'm very thankful for that. That this issue finally, I mean, it's a big issue, it's still full of a lot of stuff, but it really ties it all in, get ready for the final conclusion sort of deal, which I'm really thankful for. First of all, I thought the art in this book was really good. I really don't mention the art in a lot of these, but it's really bright and colorful, all the characters are distinct, and you can tell them from one another, and I just really enjoyed it. Even in the really big splash pages, or you have tons of characters in these sort of things. The art's all really crisp and clean, and I just thought I would mention that because I do really like it a lot. And basically, in this issue, we start off from Xanadu's point of view because she sees the past, the future, the present, the what? The past, the future, and the present, the every when, the everywhere. So we kind of see how she's experienced all of these different events. Then we continue from where the last issue left off with Wonder Woman taking the box and it driving her crazy. And the first few pages is everybody wants the box. Everyone's fighting over the box. Until eventually Shazam comes in. And then Shazam gets the box, which is fucking crazy because it sends a rift through the whole magical DC universe that everyone feels. Even in Earth 2, they feel it. In Demon Knights, they feel it in the past. Just everywhere. And in Amethyst, which I don't even know if Amethyst is running in anymore, but she feels it. Then over here we have Deadman feel it. Of course, Deadman is with Batman. So then Batman's like, "Whoa, Deadman, what was that?" And Deadman's like, "There's a disturbance in the Force." And then Deadman's like, "But I felt Xanadu. I felt Xanadu, so we know where Xanadu is. Let's go after Xanadu." And so Batman, Deadman, that whole group goes after Xanadu. We have the aftermath of the explosion at Argus, with the majority of the Justice League of America, but also some of the Justice League, including Cyborg and Superman. And they question Amanda Waller, like, "Whoa, Adam told us, hey Amanda Waller, the Atom told us what you were doing with the Justice League of America and all that. Shit's not cool." And I think here we get basically everything they did wrong with Amanda Waller in the reboot. Because you have this confrontation, and Amanda Waller doesn't come off as strong as she should be. I mean, the pre-reboot Amanda Waller, she was huge, and she was threatening, and she was a force to be reckoned with. And she, like, you know, she would tell, like, Batman, "Whoa, Batman, hold up. I'm Amanda Waller, you're going to listen to me." And Batman was like, "Ma'am, yes, ma'am." Because she was imposing. And this one can't even talk back to Green Arrow. I mean, she just doesn't have that force anymore. She doesn't have that oomph that Amanda Waller really should have, and that's really disappointing. But, and that's, like, the biggest failure of this comic, like, of this whole comic. That's what I really wanted to get to the most, is that Amanda Waller is so disappointing now. I mean, she's still doing the whole thing with, "I don't completely trust the Justice League," and whatever, but she just doesn't have that force of will and that force of character, you know, to make her seem like she's someone who could stand up to the Justice League. You know, despite having no powers, despite being basically a government bureaucrat, she always had this great force on her. Like, you believe that she could actually do this. And this Amanda Waller, you just don't believe it. Then we go back to everyone fighting over the box. That continues for a while. Until, out of nowhere, everyone's fighting over the box. John Constantine saves the day. He goes to Xanadu. He goes with Zatanna to find Xanadu. They find Xanadu. They meet up with Batman and his gang of cronies. And then we get the Outsider, who reveals that the box is not a box, but it is a portal to another world. And the Outsider's like, "It's my time to open it." You can't read it at all because the camera's being dumb, but yes, he says, Xanadu's like, "The box isn't a box, it's a portal, it's a doorway." And we have this guy saying, "Yeah, it's a doorway, I'm going to open it." And that leads us to the final issue, which hasn't come out yet, but will next week, I think. So, yeah. I was really disappointed at the end of the last issue of Trinity War, because everything just felt so complicated and big, and it wasn't really moving. This one, like I said, really reins it in, really gets everything out of control. The art's really good and clear, and I mean, I'm still not really excited to see where the story is going, but at least I can make sense of it now, so that's an up in my book. Yeah, so that's all the comics this week. Got it done pretty fast, considering we had quite a few. I kept it under half an hour, which I'm proud of. This video is probably going to go a little over, because I did want to ask a couple questions. Mainly of you, mainly of comics that I should read or not. I want to get your guys' opinion. So I know I'm not really into Marvel. If you've been watching, you know that the only Marvel comics I really read are Spiderman and Hawkeye. But I've been wondering if I should pick up Infinity. Infinity is Marvel's newest big crossover event. I really don't know anything going on about it other than Thanos and the Avengers are involved. But like, if you want me to get into that, if you want me to pick up Infinity, to start picking up the Avengers, the new Avengers, anything really, all that guff, you know, recommended. Say, "Hey, Noah, you should totally read these comics." And while we're on the subject of comics you should read, I am going to pick up Matt Fraction's Sex Criminals. I think that comes out next month. And I did pull that online, if I should, you know, because I do like Matt Fraction. I love what he's doing with Hawkeye. I want to see some more of his original work. So I'm picking up Sex Criminals. And I'm wondering if I should get into Satellite Sam at all. If you guys have read any issues of Satellite Sam, think I would like it, think I'd enjoy it, want to see me review it, or just want to hear my thoughts on it, please say so. And of course, if there are any other comics outside of those, please feel free to recommend them. So, that's it for this week. Yeah. hope you enjoyed. Any thoughts? Like, subscribe, comment, anything, you know, whatever you want. And hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you want to see some more because I plan on doing them. Bye.